Welcome to the world of the rich. Thrilled, she ran to greet the handsome guy, who nicely adjusted her hat. He showered her with compliments about her elegance. Such a simple move left a wonderful impression on her. Later, at the cinema, she happened to bump into Walter. With all the good vibes from earlier, she struck up a conversation with Walter. After the movie, she invited him over, and he was greeted by lavish decor and fancy furniture. Walter quickly realized that this lady was loaded. Her husband left her all his riches when he passed away. To her, money was no big deal, and Walter didn't show any signs of greed. He was just chatting nicely with the rich lady. The old butler disliked strangers. They hadn't seen a man for years. Walter had inventions, seeking her investment in his egg beater. But within just a few days, things had already taken a slight twist in their relationship. Walter soon found herself at a law firm where Will, the top lawyer in the UK, was sharp and full of tricks. Walter was the dude to the rich lady's murder case. The cause of death? A blunt force trauma to the back of her head, likely around 9:25 to 10 p.m. Before that, Walter claimed he was at her place, but left by 9 p.m. Now, he was the prime suspect. However, the police had no direct evidence, and Walter had no witnesses to back his claim of leaving at 9 p.m. The only witness was his wife, Christine. Walter claimed he was home by 9:25 p.m. His wife could vouch for him. After hearing the description, Will had a hunch. Seems like the rich lady had a crush on Walter. Even though she knew Walter was married, from his demeanor, she figured he wasn't in a great relationship with his wife, and Walter nodded in agreement. He let the rich lady think that way just to keep her interested. This way, the investment could go smoothly. Throughout, Will asked questions while using the lens reflection to scrutinize Walter's emotions for any signs of change. Surprisingly, Walter answered all the questions confidently. He even knew when the old butler was out each week. He knew the rich lady was wealthy and had hardly any friends. He insisted he didn't kill her, and after some probing, Will felt about 80% sure he was truthful. From what he knew so far, nothing valuable was missing from her home after her death. Moreover, Walter's aim was just to get her to invest. If she was dead, that would completely defeat the purpose. How would she invest then? However, Will then informed him that his wife's testimony wouldn't hold much weight since Walter claimed Christine loved him dearly. In such cases, a spouse's testimony is often viewed as biased and therefore cannot be considered objective evidence in court. Will initially thought that if he wanted to save Walter, the key was there was no motive for murder. Little did he know, his assistant brought in a recently published newspaper with a shocking headline that said the rich lady had changed her will. She left all her £80,000 to Walter, leaving everyone stunned. Walter glanced at the article and was overjoyed. £80,000 instantly transformed him from a quote, but Will's expression turned sour, just when he argued there was no motive for murder. Now it looked like there was. A will only comes into play after the death of the owner. This creates a perfect motive: kill the rich lady to get that money fast. However, Walter steadfastly insisted that he had absolutely no knowledge whatsoever of the will being changed. Just then, the chief officer walked in. Walter was now the suspect, and police had to question him. Guilt was up to the court. Walter handled it calmly. He knew if even Will couldn't crack the case, his chances didn't look great. After the officer left, Will did a quick recap. Walter stood strong during the interrogation. Their exchange was full of emotional ups and downs, at times excited, at times furious, at times calm. It was not like he was rehearsed for it, but judges don't rely on gut feelings. Crucial evidence is key. Now that Walter is in police custody, Will will have to resort to obtaining more information from his wife, Christine. Will planned to send someone to check on Christine, but unexpectedly found the firm himself. Surprisingly, she didn't seem overly anxious or flustered about her husband's arrest. Once inside her office, Christine laid everything out, saying she had always been aware of her husband's relationship with the rich lady. She knew he was buttering her up for a purpose. Seeing Christine so calm made Will uneasy. Will quickly stood up, putting on his chip to interrogate Christine. Throughout his questioning, she remained completely unflustered. She even strolled to the window, shutting the curtains. Will was furious, yet he also couldn't help but be impressed by Christine's calmness. Will asked her if Walter came home by 9:30. Christine smirked and asked, "Is that the answer you want to hear?" This isn't questioned. Isn't Walter coming home at 9:30 the truth? Christine immediately retorted, "Of course it is." Will followed up, asking if she loved her husband. Christine replied, "Walter thinks so." Her responses were bulletproof. After a round of questioning, Will felt he couldn't quite read the woman. It seemed like she wanted something but acted completely unfazed. Even more astonishing, Christine said Walter was not her husband. Technically, he was her bigamist husband. She elaborated that Walter had been kept in the dark. Christine had lived in East Germany as a tavern singer. Walter came to this place during his holidays to enjoy some music. He intended to listen to some tunes, but those soldiers couldn't resist Christine's beauty and soon started getting hands-on. The scene quickly turned chaotic, but the military police arrived just in time to halt the soldiers, escorting everyone back while Walter managed to slip away. Later, Walter returned to the tavern. Clever Christine sensed his interest and graciously accepted his attentions, keeping her marriage a secret. Subscribe for more hilarious moments.